Hello students, I hope you all are fine and healthy. Today we are going to start our new chapter, chapter number 4, Structure of Atom. In this chapter we will learn about the internal structure of atom, or we can say how the different particles are arranged within an atom. We know that all the matter are made up of different types of atoms and molecules, and the different types of matter is made up of different types of atoms and molecules. Earlier it was considered that the atoms are indivisible, means they cannot be divided. But now we know that the atoms consist of smaller particles. So the atoms have smaller particles in them that are known as subatomic particles. In our previous chapter, we have read that atoms are made up of three types of particles, or we can say it is having three types of subatomic particles, that are electrons, protons and neutrons. Electrons are having negative charge on them, whereas protons are having positive charge on them, and neutrons, they do not have any charge on them. They are electrically neutral. Inside an atom, protons and neutrons, they are located inside the small nucleus that is present at the center of the atom. Electrons are located outside the nucleus and they revolve around the nucleus in the fixed circular path, and these fixed circular paths are known as energy level or shells. The electrons are having very small mass. So we can say that the mass of the electron is negligible. So the whole mass of atom is located inside the nucleus. The nucleus is having positive charge on it because the protons that are having positive charge, they are present inside the nucleus. The number of electrons present in an atom is equal to the number of protons, so that the atom remains electrically neutral, or it does not have any charge on it. So atoms of all the elements, they are made up of three types of particles: electrons, protons and neutrons, except the hydrogen atom. It contains only one proton and one electron. The hydrogen atom is not having any neutron. The atoms of different elements, or we can say the atoms of different types, they have different number of electrons, protons and neutrons. All of you might have observed that if we rub a comb or a scale on dry hair, then the scale or the comb starts attracting small pieces of paper. Similarly, if we will rub a glass rod with a piece of silk cloth and bring it near to an inflated balloon, then the glass rod will attract the inflated balloon. You might have read about these two phenomena in class 8th also. So why does this happen? Why the comb attracts small pieces of paper or the glass rod attracts balloon? This happens because when the comb is rubbed on the dry hair or the glass rod is rubbed with the silk cloth, then they get electrically charged, and we know that electrically charged object can attract uncharged object. So the comb or the glass rod, they get electrically charged, whereas the small pieces of paper or the balloon, they are uncharged objects, so they attract them. So these simple experiments tells us that there are some charged particles that are present in an atom, because if there will be no charged particles, then how they are getting charged? They are getting charged because some of the particles are either removed or added. Now we will learn about the discovery of electron. Electrons was discovered by a scientist, J.J. Thomson. He took a discharge tube which was filled with a gas that was having a very low pressure. Now what is this discharge tube? Discharge tube means a sealed glass tube from which most of the air is removed or evacuated and which conducts electricity when a very high voltage is applied to it. I have made a diagram of discharge tube that is connected with a high voltage generator. Now the electrode that is connected with the negative terminal, it is known as cathode, whereas the electrode that is connected with the positive terminal, it is known as anode. And inside the discharge tube, the air is at a very low pressure. J.J. Thomson passed high voltage electricity through the gas that was present in the discharge tube. Then a beam of particles started flowing from the cathode to the anode. Since these particles were flowing from the cathode towards the anode, so they are known as cathode rays. Now these rays cannot be seen normally. For viewing them, the back side of the anode, it is painted with the phosphorus. So whenever these rays will fall on that painted part, that phosphorus will glow or it will emit light. To test the properties of these particles, he placed two oppositely charged plates around the cathode rays, one above the cathode rays and one below the cathode ray. The cathode rays were deflected away from the negative plate and they were attracted towards the positive plate. So it means that the cathode rays are negatively charged particles. Now the Thomson explained the formation of cathode rays as he said that the gas that is present inside the discharge tube is made up of atoms and all the atoms contains electrons. And he told that when the high voltage is passed through the gas that is present in the discharge tube, so some of the electrons are removed from the gas which forms the cathode rays. So cathode rays are formed from the electrons which are removed by the high voltage that is passed through the gas. The formation of cathode rays shows that inside the atom there is one negatively charged particle that is called electron. So the electron is a negatively charged particle. He tried this experiment with many different gases. Since all the gases produced cathode rays, so he concluded that all the atoms contains electrons. The mass of an electron is equal to 1 by 1840 of mass of hydrogen atom, and we know that the mass of hydrogen atom is equal to 1 U. So the mass of electron will be equal to 1 upon 1840 U. If we will convert it into gram, then it will be equal to 9 into 10 to the power minus 28 gram. So here is minus 28. So it is a very small mass. So it can be neglected. So whenever we do any calculation, we neglect the mass of the electron. Now the charge on an electron is considered as -1 unit, and the electron is represented by a symbol E having a minus sign on the superscript. So that's it, students. We will continue our chapter in our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Take care.